Yes, children, as I told you, today we are revising chapter number 1 in geography as you have got your test on Thursday. So I'm revising this chapter for you. Now, let us again know what is environment. Environment is the life support system of all the individuals, isn't it? It is our life support system, right? And it provides us air we breathe, which also contains oxygen, isn't it? The food we eat, the land on which we live, okay? So altogether, the environment becomes a component of natural environment as well as human environment. Why? Because all these things which we are say for example using in our day-to-day life, right? That is the natural environment such as air, water, food, the land. So these all are what? These all are the natural environment. And we, the human beings, are those individuals who use these natural environment in order to produce the human environment. Okay, we are the producers of human environment, right? We modify the natural environment, that is the air, water which is collected through rain in the pots, or say for example in the wells, the seas, okay, the lakes rather, the rivers, right? So when we use river water, isn't it? So that again becomes part of the natural environment which we are using as human beings. And we are, what are we doing? We have built reservoirs, we have built dams, we have built canals, okay, in order to use this water, which can be again modified. So how are we modifying this water? The rainwater which is collected, we collect these in the reservoirs, in the dams, etc., and then we use it for drinking as well as also for doing our day-to-day other activities, say for example clothing, bathing, washing, etc., isn't it? So for drinking, if the polluted water is to be used, how are we modifying it? We are modifying it through, what is the technique? The technique is using this water through the water filters. We are purifying this water through the water filters and we are using it for drinking water purposes. The food which is served by the vessels and the land is also used up, right? Many a times, say for example, when the producers children produce, the farmers, they produce the food grains, isn't it? And these food grains are again used as either whole grains, or these are being converted into flour, or you can say these are also being used as the cereals, pulses, isn't it? Right? Say for example wheat. Wheat is a whole grain, right? But this wheat, when it is being grind in the flour mills, it converts this whole grain of wheat into flour, and this flour may be used for making chapatis, parathas, puris, etc., isn't it? The human beings make cars, mills, factories and manufacture different containers. Different containers in the sense, different types of those containers which can be used either for storing things, for transportation, for preserving things, isn't it? Or say for example, these containers are used as boilers, these containers are used as for the dyeing purposes of the clothes, etc., in the textile mills, etc., okay? So this is all how the human beings modify the natural environment, right? And as I said, the natural environment consists of air, that is atmosphere, water, that is hydrosphere, land on which we live, construct houses, etc., grow food, etc., that is lithosphere, and all these things, when they combine together, they become part of the biosphere. So all the living things as well as the non-living things on the earth are said to be as the biosphere. This is the fourth sphere of the earth, isn't it? In this way, the natural environment provides us 4 spheres of earth. What are those? One is lithosphere, one is hydrosphere, one is atmosphere, and the other is biosphere, okay? So the environment is made up of the place, the people, the things, and the nature that surround any living organism. Okay, environment is made up of all these, right? And it is a combination of natural and human made phenomena, right? How? Through the natural environment as well as the human environment. The components, the main two components of the environment are natural environment and man-made environment or human environment, right? So natural environment I've already explained, right? Again, if you have to learn it in a better and easier way, it is comprised of the biotic world. What is this biotic world? It is the world of living organisms, that is the plants and animals, okay? And the abiotic world. What is that abiotic world? All that comprises of the non-living organisms such as land. Now land provides us help to grow the food, okay, or food grains. So how can we say that it is a non-living organism or non-living element? It is non-living element because until and unless this land has not been plowed, or it is not, if we don't sow the seeds into it, right, we do not make the soil fertile which is present on it. Of course it is fertile naturally, but still it is necessary to make that soil fertile which is unfertile. Okay, so until and unless this activity is not being carried out by the human beings, it doesn't help us to grow any food grains on it. Okay, and those areas which are not fertile, they can be used for construction of roads, buildings, industries, etc. Okay, so when this particular land, which is a natural environment, part of natural environment, is converted into different uses, it becomes modification of land, and then the human environment comes into existence. So the man-made environment consists of the buildings, the parks, the bridges, the roads, industries, and different monuments, right, historical buildings which are being constructed by the human beings. Also, the human beings have a big family out here, isn't it? And what is that family in the world? It is the individual himself, then his family. Then when this individual and the family come into contact with different type of groups of the people, they become part of the community, right? Then all those communities which perform similar religion and worship of God, okay, they become part of religion, okay? And this religion, as in India or even in the world, is being converted into different types of religions, that is Hindu, Muslim, or Christian, or Sikh. Then these also get the education, right? So where do we get the education? We get education in the school buildings, the organizations, the associations, the institutions where education has been provided. But here the whole of the people, all the people together come and get educated in one particular place, okay? But at the same time, these all become part of the economy, okay? This all contributes to the economy, right? The individuals with the family, the community, the different type of religion, the education they get, the different facilities which they get in terms of bridges, roads, school buildings, parks, etc. Okay, they all comprise of a economic system in a country, okay? And this economic system is also prevailing in all the countries, okay? And this all together become a political situation. So the human beings are comprised of so many different aspects, right? So altogether, these are the two main components of environment. Here children, in this picture, as you know, I have also already explained this earlier, but I am again revising this for you, right? These are the domains of environment. Again I said, when I said the different layers of environment, okay? What are those? The atmosphere, the lithosphere, the biosphere, and the hydrosphere. Hydrosphere consists of the large land water bodies on the earth. The lithosphere consists of the large landmass bodies on the earth, say for example the continents, the countries, and all that land on which we live and do our day-to-day activities, okay, like farming, transportation, communication from one place to another. or say for example being part of the industries or working for these industries, the whole system which is meant for the people to earn their living, etc. All these activities are carried out on the land. Okay, and the biosphere, which comprises of all the living organisms, right? So all these 4 spheres of the earth, right, are said to be as the domains of environment. And of course the atmosphere, which provides us which is made up of different types of gases, as well as the those particles which are easily not seen by our normal eyes. Okay, but it also comprises of smoke, dust, then different dust particles, then it comprises of different types of gases, say for example oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen. Okay, and this is also one of the most important layer of the earth, which protects us from the harmful layers of the sun. Okay, so that is why it is said to be as a blanket which protects the earth from the harmful layers of harmful rays of the sun. Okay, then all these together become, or they form, an ecosystem, right? And what is this ecosystem? You can see here, children. Yes, there is this what I am explaining is the pond ecosystem, right? Ecosystem is a system which is formed by the interaction of all living organisms with each other. Either it is physically or through any sort of chemical compositions or factors. Okay, so when these all come in interaction with each other, okay, they form or they become part of the ecosystem, right? In the same way, children, I would also once again revise this human environment. That human environment, when interacts with the environment, the natural environment, and modifies it, okay, it becomes part of the whole environment. Okay, and in the early times, children, we have also learned that the human beings were nomads. They used to live from one. They won't live in one particular place. They were the wanderers. They used to live in different places wherever food and water was available for them, right? And at the same time, as they started moving from one place to another, they started knowing the nature very well, and then gradually they started modifying this natural environment to make their life easier, right? So in order to as the number of human beings increased on the earth, what happened was they always wanted to grow with improving their surroundings, okay, and making best use of their surroundings, right? So that is how their needs and wants also started growing gradually, and thus to fulfill their food needs, they started growing crops, they started domestication of animals, they settled in one particular place wherever the water was available. They started living near the banks of the rivers, etc. Right? Then as gradually they started knowing about the nature in their surroundings, they started inventing things. First of all, what did the man invent? He invented fire. Then wheel was invented, and gradually this helped them to do trade, as well as they started making new things for themselves which they could use in the best ways. Say for example, pot making. These pots were being used as the natural pots, or also by baking these pots, okay, and they used it for keeping the water in it, storing water, food grains, food, etc. And gradually, step by step, this production as well as you can say modification of the natural environment came into existence, and people started transforming these into different industries, etc. Right? And gradually this has also somewhere affected our nature, isn't it? So now there is a question that there is a need to save our natural environment, and how can we do that? We can do it through sustainable development. So development is of course necessary, progress is of course necessary, but how it can be possible? It should be done in such a way that it could preserve the natural environment for the future generations also. Okay, so sustainable development is very much necessary, and for this we have to keep a balance between the human environment and natural environment. Okay.